What's good, Cubers? It's your boy Matt, and I'm back today. It's card of the week time, and I have to start off by apologizing because I didn't really cover this card when we did our Modern Horizons set review, and I've been playing it in my cube, and it's bananas, so let's just get started. Today I want to talk about Winds of Abandon. For 1 and a white, you get a sorcery, exile target creature you don't control. For each creature exiled this way, its controller searches their library for a basic land card. Those players put those cards onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle their libraries. Overload for 4 and double white. You may cast this spell for its overload cost. If you do, change its text by replacing the instances of target with each. So I thought this card would be pretty good, and I thought it was a reasonable upgrade for one of the cards in my cube, and so I stuck it in, and wow, this card is really good. And we need to start off by comparing it to the staple removal spells in white, namely Swords to Plowshares and Path to Exile. Now the thing that these cards have over Winds is that they are at instant speed. They basically do the same thing otherwise. They exile creatures from the game. Swords lets your opponent gain life. Path actually fetches them a basic land, so it's very similar to Winds, but both are at instant speed, and if you've played any cube at all, you know that instant speed is just vital. So I don't think Winds is as good as these cards, but there's a second tier of removal in white, and I think this is where Winds falls into its place, and that's with Journey to Nowhere, Declaration of Stone, and I've even included Pacifism because I still see them on cube lists from time to time. Journey to Nowhere is an enchantment for 1 and a white. When it enters the battlefield, exile a creature until Journey to Nowhere leaves the battlefield. Declaration in Stone is a sorcery for 1 and a white. Exile target creature and each other creature its controller controls with the same name, which is flavor text in cube because we don't run multiples. That player investigates for each non-token creature exiled this way, so they get a clue. And I've included Pacifism here. 1 and a white, enchanted creature can't attack or block, so it doesn't remove it and it can still use its abilities, which makes Pacifism a couple of tiers down from these guys. But Declaration in the Stone is a really strong sorcery speed removal spell, and it does exactly what Winds does, except Winds has the overload mode, where you can pay 6 and exile their entire creature board, and they go fetch basic lands for them. And while that does ramp them, it's still a one-sided board wipe for 6, and 6 is a really attainable number. So the upside, the ceiling on Winds, is that you exile your opponent's entire board, which control decks just love. So now you've got a single target removal spell, or best case scenario, you wipe their entire board. Yeah, Winds is just flat better than all 3 of these. And if you're playing any of these 3s, you're now playing Winds of Abandon instead. But despite my love of Winds, I don't want you to get ahead of yourself either and start pulling cards out of your cube. I've heard some players, or I should say read some players, taking out cards like Oblivion Ring, Cast Out, or Conclave Tribunal to insert Winds instead, and I think you should be cautious about doing this because Oblivion Ring, Cast Out, and Tribunal all do one important thing that Winds does not, and that is they target permanents, which allows white to remove planeswalkers, artifacts, enchantments, just all other kinds of things, including creatures. And while we do frequently cast out a creature, having the answer to handle Jace at flash speed is really important. So don't just pull these types of cards out of your cube in order to insert Winds. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about where Winds of Abandon falls. I think Winds of Abandon is an amazing card, and it's very cubable, and like I said, if you're playing any of those other 3 cards, you're now playing Winds instead. I grade Winds at an A- only because it doesn't have instant speed and it can't target any permanent, but still, this card is really good, and I think you're going to want to add it to your cubes. If you're like me and you live that foil lifestyle, you want to probably go ahead and pick them up before it gets really popular in Commander, because I see this card seeing a lot of Commander play over time, and right now the foils are really reasonably priced. So that's going to do it for today, Cubers. Be sure to like and subscribe. Check us out on Twitter at cubefortwo. Leave a comment below if there's a card you want us to look at for Card of the Week. And as always, and until next time, shuffle up and keep cubing, my friends.